Oh hell yeah. New year, new army, my friends. Welcome back everybody. As you may know, the new codex for the Astra Militarum is about to release. And I got back into Warhammer 40k. I had so much fun playing the game with a copy of a friend of mine and watching games at our local hobby shop. Obviously, we are going to paint a soldier of the Imperium of Man. But not some ordinary soldier, no. We are going to paint the Death Corps version of Sebastian Yarrick. Ever since I got in contact with Warhammer 40k, I've always wanted to have a Death Corps of Krieg army. And thankfully, there's a lot of love for our suicidal guardsmen out there. So there are a lot of models out there for us to buy and collect. Like these ones. They are the Valor Corps by TheMakersCult. I've shown these models in a previous video, but back then I had no real interest in starting an army with these fellas. But now, yeah, let's do this. So, this model got 3D printed, I put him on his base and put some planks and sand on it. You can see how I made my Death Corps style bases in my last video. I primed him black this time around, using a matte black spray from my local discounter. First we wanna hit our main area, his coat. Since he's a commissar after all, I'm using Corvus Black from Citadel for this step, but Black Grey from Vallejo works too. His boots, the tubes connecting his respirator to his compressor unit I think it's called, and hat will get the same color as his coat. His gloves get a coat of ashen grey. Next we wanna add more to our coat by adding some Calbian green to the inner parts of his coats. Why green instead of red? Well, green is the main army color here. Don't forget to paint his ribbons, compressor unit, and of course his mighty power claw with this as well. My color scheme isn't based on a specific regiment of the Death Corps, but it kind of resembles the 261st Siege Regiment. After we are happy with our coat, we move on and paint his uniform. For this I'm using English uniform from Vallejo as my base color. For his mask we are going to use Baneblade Brown. His trousers get a coat of Death Corps drab. How fitting, isn't it? Now we wanna add some contrast to our piece. I'm going to add some Mephiston red into the mix. With this I'm going to paint the cables connecting his power claw to his compressor unit. Nearly done with the base coats. We just need a few more colors, so let's get this bad boy finished. Sentry dust gets applied over his belts. The scabbard gets a coat of Mournfang Brown. Since he's holding a plasma pistol, I'm going to paint the top of his pistol in white. After that, a layer of Drakenhof Nightshade will do the rest. Because I want to add a little bit of chipped metal on my Death Corps, I'm going to apply a few tiny dots of Abaddon Black to our previously green parts. Mainly his power claw and compressor unit on his back. I swear to God, if I'm going to say compressor unit one more time, I'm going insane. Let's call it teeny tiny green box instead. So, onto our metallics. The rest of our plasma pistol gets a coat of lead belcher. But remember, his cybernetic eye needs to be painted as well. Also paint his belt buckle. On top of that, we are dotting some lead belcher on the previously painted black parts. The leftover parts will get a coat of Retributor armor. Now I'm going to change my water to avoid getting metallic pigments into my normal paints. The last part before we wanna shade the model is to paint his glowing red eye. For this I'm going to reuse some Mephiston red that's already on my palette. These are the base coats done. Let the fun part begin. I'm going to shade the entire model with Agrax Earthshade. And yes, you've heard me right. No oil wash this time. The new Agrax Earthshade, although being in a smaller pot, is great and works perfect for my style of painting. After the shade is dry, we can go on and highlight some parts, like his coat. For this, some Thunderhawk blue is used. I'm just focusing on the edges. His uniform gets a highlight of a mixture of English uniform and Iraqi sand from Vallejo. The last few steps. Highlight the green with some Calibite green. Again, I'm focusing more on the edges here. For our last highlight, we want to add just a teeny tiny highlight of record flash on his mask. And that's it! Our Dev Corps Commissar Jarek is finished. If you enjoyed the video and the process, hey, let me know by liking the video. Maybe subscribe to the channel, but you don't need to. I'm the Viking Sinner signing out, but most importantly,
blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne.